Hello, Barbara Jo here, and I'm sitting with one of my favorite cookery book authors, Jennifer McLaglan, who has been in Vancouver for the last few days to promote her latest tome, Odd Bits. Of course, we know Jennifer from her first tome, Bones, and then the second book, Fat. She now has 3 beautiful books in this trilogy. Now, Odd Bits.
Yes.
Jennifer.
It's my carnivorous trilogy. That's what I'm calling it. It's people said I should have done a book on skin, but I think it's a pretty slim book. You know, I've got a lot of skin recipes in the other books, so perhaps one day my publisher will save up and bind the 3 volumes in vellum, and then that will look really nice, and I will have covered everything up.
That's a really great idea.
I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
If Thomas Keller can do it, why can't I?
Oh, exactly.
Yes, that's my thought.
Very skin-toned color. What animal would you use for that skin tone?
Ooh, I don't know. I think you'd have to use a cow, wouldn't you? Don't you think?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Jennifer, when it comes to writing your books, one thing I love about your books is they are so well researched. You obviously spend a lot of time with other people's books. Other people's books inspire you. Writers inspire you. Who inspires you?
Well, that's my favorite part of doing it, is the research. That's a lot of fun, and you find out lots of information you weren't expecting to find out. With these books, I guess, probably in the middle of Fat, I discovered Hugh Fairley-Whittingstall. I just like saying his name because it's such a long name, and as you know, he's an English author, has TV shows, restaurants, raises his own animals. But he did a great book on meat. And it's just on meat, and he talks about the ethics of raising animals. But what I liked in that book especially, and I think it's a really important book, he has a photo essay on taking his animals to the abattoirs and them being killed. That is something that you don't see in books, and I think that makes you realize that meat comes from animals. It's very important.
And who else? Are there any older books that come to mind? Books that might have been written, 3,000 or 4,000 years ago.
When I was younger. You know one book I really like, because I come from Australia, and it's Stephanie Alexander's Cook's Companion, which she has revised. And I love that book because the way it's divided into ingredients. I love books like that.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that I make many of the recipes, but I love the way Stephanie has lists of what goes with what. And if you're a cook, that's really inspiring. You know, you look up artichokes and she suggests different ingredients. And I love to cook that way. It's just, for someone who cooks, it's much more interesting than the recipe itself.
Have you met Stephanie Alexander?
I ate at a restaurant when she still had the restaurant, and then she had a cafe, and now she's doing a lot of work with children and children's gardens and children cooking.
Yes.
She's really
she has a book about that.
And she's passionate about that, and I totally agree with her, because that's what we need to do, is having kids learn how to cook.
Yes.
Not to make fancy pastries or anything, but to learn the basics of cooking, because everybody needs to know how to cook dinner.
So, Christmas is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a book that you'd like to find under the tree this year?
Well, this is going to be surprising to you, and it's surprising for me to actually say it, and I didn't think I would say it, because when the book first came out, I said, oh, that's ridiculous. I think it would be modernist cuisine.
Oh.
Even...
I'll have to talk to your husband.
Yes, you will. But I think he's as keen to get it as I am.
Yeah, of course he would. He'd love it.
Yeah, I met one of the authors, not the main author, but a gentleman called Maxime Villet, who's a Frenchman who works in Seattle. Charming, cute, good-looking Frenchman, so immediately I wanted the book. But it was absolutely fascinating the way they go through history of things and the science behind things. I doubt I'd cook out of it, but I think it would make a very interesting read. And I need somewhere to keep my drink next to my chair, and that box will be absolutely perfect.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Barbara Jo.